Hello everyone, welcome to section 5.2. In section 5.2, we're going to be verifying trigonometric identities. And I would like you to pause the video and copy the guidelines on this page. There are 5 guidelines that are very important you should always have in front of you. Now that you have hopefully copied the guidelines, pay attention to number 5. Number 5 says, always try something. Even paths that lead to dead ends provide insights. And also, I should have said this first, number 1, work with one side of the equation at a time. It is often better to work with the more complicated side first. So we're going to get to that in this first example that we're going to be looking at today. So here it is. It says cotan squared of y times secant squared of y minus 1 equals 1. So now in this lesson, you're going to be looking at equations, whereas in section 5.1, we were just given an expression and we were told simplify this. Now we're given an equation. Notice the equal sign. And we have to make the left side equal the right side. So like we just read the guidelines, number 1 tells us go to the more complicated side first. So obviously you can see that this is the more complicated side. And same thing as the previous lesson. We're trying to see what we can do, maneuver this in order for this all to equal 1. Now again, always try different things. So maybe you think, oh, let's distribute. You can actually distribute and still result in 1, but that's a little bit more complicated than I want for this first example. So hopefully you can see this right here is a Pythagorean identity. And where are my identities? By the way, always have that in front of you also on page 372. That's where I'm looking at. Okay, so I know that I can use the Pythagorean identity and this will result in tan squared. Right? And since you know that this is the reciprocal, right, that would be 1 over tangent squared times tangent squared. That does equal 1. So we have verified it. 1 equals 1. Now, obviously, they get way more complicated. This is what I would consider like an easy level problem. Okay, we're going to do an easy, a medium, and a hard all in this lesson. Okay, so for my second example, I'm going to be looking at number 19 on the same page. Okay, number 19 says cotan squared of t over cosecant equals 1 minus sine squared over sine of t. Now, sometimes you're going to get problems and everything looks complicated. So sometimes it doesn't matter really where you start because the left and the right side here are complicated. It's not clear like in the first example we did where which one is the complicated side. So it's really where you feel comfortable. And again, always try something. Even paths that lead to dead ends provide insight. So if you want, pause the video, see if you could do this yourself, and maybe you're going to think of doing it in a different way that I am. Okay, so when I look at this example, I see sine over here, sine squared and the sine, and I know that cotan and cosecant, I know that those can turn into terms with sine. So that's where my brain went to right away. So cotan squared, I know, is the quotient identity. That would be cosine squared over sine squared. And I know that cosecant is 1 over sine. All right? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal because I'm dividing here. So that would be cosine squared over sine squared times sine over 1. And now if I simplify that, that's going to result in cosine squared over just sine, right? Because right here and here cross cancel, and we're left with one sine on the bottom, right? Now if we bring down the right side, it says 1 minus sine squared of t over sine of t. So yay, I have done the bottom, right? The denominators match each other, but now the numerators also need to match. So I definitely know that this is the result of a Pythagorean identity, which would be 1 minus sine squared. And so now I have verified and I am done. Once my sides equal, I am done. Okay, I'm hoping that, again, that wasn't as easy in no way, shape, or form. This takes a lot of practice, guys. So this is what I consider a medium level problem. Okay, now I'm going to take it away to a problem that would definitely be way more difficult. And this is going to be on the same page, number 39. And this will be my last example in the video. I'm going to try to take it a little slower. But obviously this is a video. You guys can rewind and pause and do it and listen to it again. Okay, so this problem says tangent x plus cotangent y over tan x cotan y is equal to tangent y plus cotangent x. Okay, so obviously, where is the more complicated side? That would be the left side. If you want, pause the video, see if you could do it yourself without listening to this. And if at the end of my explanation, you're like, wow, I wouldn't have thought of this. Again, it takes practice. So this lesson is definitely has a lot of complicated, tricky things. Okay, so, and by the way, guys, this is definitely considered a spicy problem. Okay, we're gonna put a little chili pepper here because this is complicated. All right, so let's start. So I see that tangent has on this side, I see tangent has a y, cotangent has an x. And I see here, I see tangent has an x, cotangent has a y. So that's tricky there. I need to change that around. So, and again, there's so many ways to do this problem, and it's really hard to explain why I thought to do this. It's just in my head from practice. So it just takes time and practice. So I'm going to leave my numerator the same for now, and I'm going to change my denominator because, again, I don't know why. It's hard to explain. So let's just start. I talk too much. I'm sorry. Okay, so tan x, and I'm going to change cotan y to be the reciprocal of tangent. But notice it has a y, so I have to be careful and keep it as a y. Okay, and I'm not going to keep bringing down the right side. I'll just put equals here, and then, we'll just know that this is coming down just to save a little time. Okay, and so now what I'll do is I'll combine this to be the denominator now. Here's my numerator, and now my denominator looks like this. Right? Okay, next, I have to simplify this whole thing, right? That's yucky. It cannot stay like that. So again, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. And I'm pretty much going to show you every single step. So that numerator is going to get multiplied by the denominator by multiplying by the reciprocal. That's how you would simplify that, right? Okay. And now if I distribute here, if I distribute this, right? distribute that, I will result in tan x tan y plus cotan y tan y. And now this is all over tangent x. Beautiful. Now, I know right here, now that these have the same variable, I can simplify that, right? So I'll write a little side note here. That does equal 1 in case you don't know how I'm going to get 1 there. That is that cotan is the reciprocal of tangent, right? And so if I cross there, that's just 1. So tangent x, tangent y plus 1 over tangent x, right? Okay. Now, what I notice is that, well, not that I notice, but what I can do is I can break away this fraction like this. Tangent x, tangent y over tangent x plus 1 over tangent x, right? Hopefully you could see now, you could take it away. Right here, these guys will cancel. And so you're left with tangent y plus, what is 1 over tangent x? 1 over tangent x is cotan of x. And now I have verified my identity. Check. Okay, now this side equals that side, and that's what I wanted. Okay, then this is definitely a hard problem. So I have done an easy, a medium, and a hard level problem. Definitely, you're going to need to practice a lot on this until you can master it. Hope it has helped. Have a great day.